just waiting for another day to invite all of y'alls to the Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. That counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns. Before I get started, I want to make a correction. Something I said yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. When was it? It was Saturday. I was talking about the different sectors of the economy here in the United States. And I incorrectly stated that there were 13 sectors, and the truth is that there are 11 sectors of the economy. So forgive me. If you went and started searching for stocks in 13 different sectors, yeah, you would have been scratching your head, because there's only 11 sectors. I apologize. Let me let you into the trucking world for just a little bit. But before I do, I want to let you guys know that everything is running smoothly with the portfolios of JB, of AJ, and CJ. All three are doing well. It looks like they're going to be closing out the year in positive territory. So, a little round of applause for them. Me personally, I have a variety of portfolios, not just one. The largest portfolio that I have has 100 different corporations that I purchase stocks from. And I actively manage my own portfolio. So stocks go in and replace stocks that I want to go out. 100 is extremely excessive. So I hope you're not impressed with that. It's not anything to be impressed about. If you're an individual retail investor and you're investing long term, this is not financial advice, but you should keep it between 5 and 15 different corporations for your portfolio. 100 is excessive. But you got to keep in mind that I'm a former broker, so I'm okay with it. A good portion, a large percentage yield dividends from a low percentage to a relatively high percentage. What's relatively high, you might ask? Well, between 6 and 8% is relatively high. Anything above 8, you're in riskier territory. And the higher you go, the riskier it is. I'm not going to get into details as to exactly what makes it so risky. At least not in this video or podcast. Trucking as a business. You want to be a trucker? You want to have your own trucking business? Well, that's awesome. Here's a little something so that you understand exactly what you can confront as a business owner in the trucking world. You look for a load. you find your loads on a load board, provided, of course, that you don't have a contract with a shipper or a broker to transport goods from point A to point B on a contractual basis. Here's a little something. This load that I'm transporting right now was found on something called the spot market. SPOT. Sierra Papa Oscar Tango. Spot. It's on the spot market. Now, the spot market is generally leftovers. Those are leftover runs that either wound up there because they couldn't find anybody at the moment to transport whatever it was, or whoever they did have had to abandon at the last second. So they had to hand it off, pass it off. Passed it off to a broker, more than likely. The broker tends to be a middleman in the whole thing, in this process. And the middleman receives the information from a load and puts it on the spot market. And in the spot market, it's like a load supermarket where drivers or owner-operators or brokers can go in and pick and choose from whatever it's on the list. So you go on the spot market. Now, this load was chosen on the spot market. The amount of time given to deliver this load, and the whole thing was from the location where I was assigned the load to the pickup to the final destination, was approximately 1,150 miles. 1,150 miles. And the delivery date was today at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. No, 5 o'clock was the pickup. I think the delivery was right around the same time. Basically 2 days, because I picked up on Saturday. Saturday at 5 was the pickup time. And the delivery time is around 5 o'clock today, Monday. 2 days. 2 days later. I'm a company driver, so the company has already established its reputation. And the reputation has what's called a credit number assigned to it. So when you check a company's credit, a carrier's credit, a broker's credit, it's not their FICO score. It's how they've fulfilled. This is a number assigned to their ability to having fulfilled obligations, past obligations, and how well they performed. They take into consideration your equipment, how new it is, whether or not it's maintained, how well it's maintained. That information is available to brokers and to shippers. Because I'm a company driver, it's a little different than having my own authority. Do you guys remember what having an authority means? Well, you own the trucking company. Let's just put it that way. So the owner of the trucking company will suffer the consequences, if there aren't any consequences, for not delivering on time. I'm terribly late. I'm a day late. I'm a day late because of a breakdown. And that happens. Brokers and receivers and shippers, they understand that breakdowns occur. And when it does happen, they will judge you on your ability to communicate what's going on. Because whoever's receiving this load, they have to make accommodations for the load. Well, this one in particular, because it's a food product and it's going to a food warehouse. Food warehouses tend to have their own transportation unit, because they go ahead and distribute whatever they receive. For example, whatever I'm leaving behind, they have to break that up into different routes and distribute whatever I brought to different locations, their customers, their stores. So those warehouses that deal with food, for the most part, have to receive the product, break down the product, and redistribute the product using their own transportation. And the space that they have is limited. So when you have an appointment, it is important that you keep the appointment as close to the appointment time as possible. When you can't do that and you don't communicate what's going on, you're leaving the receiver hanging, and it causes a domino effect for that distributor, for that warehouse. So there's space that they could have used more effectively had they known what was going on. I suffered a breakdown. Had I owned my own truck, had I had my own authority, that second part where I have to communicate would be extremely important. Not doing so would affect my business. And if I'm a single truck owner, or even up to, 10 trucks maybe, you might be too small to absorb a negative impact from such a thing. What does that mean? That means that your credit score will go down. It's like being at the end of the line. If your credit score is good, you're at the front of the line for getting loads. But when your credit score is bad, you're at the end of the line. You got to wait till all the good offers are taken by the trucking companies with the better credit score. I pick up at 5 p.m. or I show up to my pickup on time, 5 p.m. It's a 2-day run. Everything is going smoothly. I'm on time for the pickup. I leave, look at my GPS. It's got the estimated arrival time on my GPS. Everything is looking good. Everything is looking like I'm going to arrive ahead of schedule. And then I stop at the weigh station because of the weight of the product. Company policy has it so that if the load weighs 27,000 or above, you have to scale and find out how much it actually is, how much your truck is with the load, and whether or not the weight is properly distributed. I'm done with the scale. I park because I want to purchase some nutrients. I come back to the truck and I see a puddle underneath the front of the truck. I turn the truck on, and seconds later, emergency shut off in 60 seconds. What? Okay, let's find out what's going on. I go back to the front of the truck, take a good look at the puddle. It turns out that that's my puddle. I did that. You see, because sometimes you'll park in a truck stop and there'll be a puddle of water, a puddle of oil, a puddle of radiator fluid. You look under the truck and you don't see any dripping, so it's probably not yours. That happens often. However, this time, after I parked, there was a puddle, no dripping, but when I turned on the truck, emergency shut off. My radiator fluid was so low that it triggered the sensor inside the radiator overflow. So upon lifting the hood, I see that yes indeed, my coolant level was too low. Got me some more fluid, topped it off, waited to see, turned the truck on. When the truck was off, I didn't see anything coming out. When I turned it on, I didn't see anything coming out. Didn't make any sense. I kept driving. Again, I stopped to do my 30-minute break. When I go to turn the truck on, emergency shut off in 60 seconds. Okay. Top it off again, but I'm looking at the wheel well, after I lift the hood, and it's wet all over the place. So apparently I got a leak somewhere. It's squirting all over the place, but I can't figure out exactly where. I don't see it. Well, standard operational procedures as a company driver, but owning my own truck, I gotta locate a mechanic at 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. There aren't too many places open. And don't forget, I got a delivery to make. Well, I make it as far as a truck stop, Travel Americas, TA, also known as TA. Their shop is open. Their shop is open 24 hours. Perfect. I pull in. They check it out. They find the problem. Cool. I'll be up and out of here in no time. I don't have as much of a cushion as before. I'll still be relatively early, but I don't have that cushion in time that I did before, because I had to stop and get this repair work done. Sorry, we don't have the part. Oh? Now, as a company driver, no big deal. Like I said, the company has an established reputation. So, but for me, if I owned the truck and I had my own authority, I don't have that kind of relationship. Now, they're telling me, yeah, we can fix it, no problem. But we need a new part. And the place we gotta order it from is closed until tomorrow morning. Okay. So, an entire night that I should have been driving, and I'm not driving. And I'm not driving. Now I'm behind schedule. Now I gotta wait until the following morning to get the truck repaired. How much was it? They had to replace the reservoir for the coolant. Labor, parts, and everything else, just under $1,000. Just under $1,000. So you got a $1,000 repair. You got a whole day gone, which in trucking terms and in owner terms, in today's figures, you probably suffered a loss of about $1,800. This is besides the payment of the repair. The repair was $1,000. You lost out on the ability to generate $1,800 in cash. Your reputation is at stake. When you arrive to the location, what is customary from these food warehouses is that they charge you a late fee. Late fees tend to be somewhere around $250 on the low end. Sometimes they'll charge you $400 or $450. And there's a very good chance that where I'm going right now, they will be charging a late fee. So as an owner, you have the breakdown. So there's a potential loss of $1,800. You have the repair itself, another $1,000. The late fee, which will be anywhere between $250 and $450. So you add it all up, and those are expenses. And I've spoken to some drivers with little experience, and because they have little experience, it's understandable that they don't include those expenses in their calculations when they decide that they wanted to become an owner operator or have their own authority. Good times. So that's the lifestyle of the rich and shameless in the trucking industry. So if you want to enter into a business with a low barrier of entry, but huge headaches, you might want to consider becoming an owner of a trucking company. If you want to go that route, my recommendation is that you work for a company for 5 years before you get on board and ask a lot of questions associated with the operation of the business, and then get into the business. That's just my opinion, though. I enjoyed talking to you today. And I enjoy it even more when you watch or listen. It gets me very excited. And that excitement is why I spoke about 13 sectors of the economy as opposed to 11. I was very excited at the moment, and my apologies. So stay fresh and keep it profitable. Happy Mary and Merry Happy to all of y'alls. Keep that cake moist if you're gonna eat cake. So stay fresh, keep it moist, and keep it profitable. Let's see what Kitty's doing. Kitty, get up here!
Arabamda aça, seviyorum çift kalem aça. Göremedi kimseden fayda, işler